Hi guys, hopefully you're safe and having an engaging lockdown. Today I'm going to share with you a little story. Well, in fact, it's not really a story. Back in 2012, I had made a documentary called The Art of Ants. It was meant to be screened at Ohio. A few news delis had picked up the news and had very kindly published about it. But the demented individual that I am, I decided not to screen it anymore. Instead, I kept the documentary as a blueprint, as a research material for a fictional story, a script that I started writing. Because I thought that a film in a fictional narrative would help me reach out more with the kind of story that it was, would engage more people than the documentary. And had the lockdown not happened, I was very close to, after 7-8 years, almost getting down to making a film about it. Nevertheless, I'm going to share an excerpt from the documentary with you, and I hope you find it fascinating and interesting as much as I have. By the way, guys, are you aware that the human body has 3 trillion times more microbial cells than the human cells itself? Which means it's not a few microbes that lives in the human body, it's a few human cells that lives in the microbial body. So why am I telling you about this? What's so fascinating about it? Which brings me to my next question. Have you guys heard of something called the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis? Don't get carried away by the heaviness of the scientific name. It's just a simple unicellular microscopic fungi. Well, it's simple till it comes in contact with an ant. I mean, there are various subspecies of cordyceps that specializes in being parasites to different organisms, but I'm going to specifically speak about an ant today. So Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, the fungi, it is capable of intruding or infecting an ant's CNS, or the central nervous system, and in doing so, it's able to control the ant's behavioral pattern, almost like controlling its thoughts. Now, the ant, of course, thinks that it's completely in its own control, in its own free will, but it is the fungi that starts controlling the ant's behavior. What it does, it makes the ant separate itself from its colony and makes it climb up to the tallest branch of a tree. And once it's there, it makes the ant bite onto a leaf with its mandibles with such a force that the head of the ant bursts open and the ant dies. Now, to a third person, it would seem that the ant is very much alive and it's just clinging onto the leaf, but in reality, the ant is dead. And the fungi starts living within the ant's body and using the ant's exoskeleton as its own shelter and feeding the ant from inside to gain nourishment from it. So once the fungi is nourished enough and it's beyond its dormant stage, what the fungi does is it slowly starts sprouting out from the opening on the ant's head, and then it further gives out more spores to infect the other ants in the colony, in the vicinity. Fascinating, isn't it? A simple unicellular microscopic organism is capable of controlling the behavior, the thought pattern of, in comparison to it, a much larger organism like an ant. So the question then arises that the human body, which itself is so complicated, it's huge in comparison to an ant, but we have 3 trillion times more microbes living inside our body, most of which have not even been discovered yet. So how do we know that our thought patterns, our behavior, and everything is coming out of free will and is not regulated or controlled by other organisms.